Have you ever noticed how the greatest pains in your life were also the moments that transformed you the most? And what if I told you that the pain that now feels like a burden might be exactly what will set you free? On the spiritual journey, we often experience deep spiritual pain, confusion about who we are, fear of going crazy, or even the feeling of being completely out of place. It's interesting how these hurts, which seem to knock us down, actually carry subtle clues about our mission, our purpose, and even our own twin flame. I myself went through a moment when I felt loneliness, emotional overload, and unexplained physical pain. Every sign felt like a silent warning, and I had no idea where to turn. But it was at this breaking point that I discovered something surprising. Pain is not an enemy, it's a messenger, a bridge to inner growth. It's as if every suffering carries within it a key that opens doors to self-knowledge, clarity, and strength we never imagined we had. In this video, we're going to explore together how to transform all this pain into strength, how to listen to the messages that life and the body are sending us, and how to find meaning in every hurt we feel. I'll show you practical ways to embrace your own experience, reconnect with your spirituality, and realize that no matter how intense the challenges are, you have within you the power to be reborn. Could it be that the pain you're feeling today is trying to show you who you can become? Number 1, feeling of loneliness and misunderstanding. Sometimes, loneliness hits like a heavy door that no one dares to open. Those who go through this sensation feel that even in the middle of crowds, they are alone, as if no one truly understands the dilemmas they carry. Along the spiritual journey, this feeling may seem like a punishment, but it is actually a sign that something deep is happening within. It's the kind of spiritual pain no one can explain, but that stirs every fiber of the body and soul. Imagine being in a dark room, hearing only the echo of your own thoughts. It's uncomfortable, yet revealing. The hurts of the spirit often manifest in the mind, in those small moments of frustration when we feel like our emotions don't fit anywhere in the world. The art of listening to yourself becomes essential here, noticing what your heart is trying to say, even if it seems confusing or contradictory. Someone might suggest meditation or journaling, but sometimes just walking alone through the park already creates space for the mind to breathe. Each mindful pause is like lighting a small lamp in a dark hallway of the spiritual journey, showing that we are not completely lost. Even if no one around understands, self-understanding slowly begins to emerge. And of course, there's the paradox: the more loneliness presses in, the closer it brings us to who we truly are. It's in this silent space that the spirit meets itself, that questions about purpose begin to take shape, and the inner twin flame slowly awakens. It is painful, yes, but pain is not an enemy, it is a teacher, showing us where to look and what to heal. Those who feel out of place today may actually be preparing to rediscover their own spiritual path. And in this rhythm of discoveries, the mind and the body start to communicate in ways that once seemed impossible. Number 2, emotional/spiritual fatigue and exhaustion. The kind of deep exhaustion that sets in isn't just physical, it's that silent weight that piles up on the soul, leaving a person drained even after a full night's sleep. On the spiritual journey, many experience this spiritual pain as if each day were an invisible battle, carrying wounds no one else can see. It's as if every decision, every emotion, consumes energy that feels endless, and yet, this very depletion is an invitation to look within. Feeling exhausted is a warning sign. It's time to stop, breathe, and recognize that the body and soul are not machines. Imagine trying to run a marathon without hydrating. The body screams, and on the spiritual journey, it's much the same. Emotional overload shows up in subtle ways, like chest tightness, shoulder tension, or that feeling that the whole world is resting on your shoulders. It's the body's way of saying, hey, slow down, you're getting lost in worries that aren't even yours to carry. In moments like this, simple practices such as deep breathing, mindful stretching, or walks outdoors can ease the hurts and help restore your energy. Even listening to uplifting music or writing your thoughts without censorship can bring clarity about where the exhaustion is coming from. Small gestures add up, transforming weariness into fuel for transformation. Interestingly, emotional exhaustion can also become a doorway to deeper self-understanding. When someone feels on the brink of collapse, they begin questioning priorities, relationships, and habits that once went unnoticed. It's as if each hurt becomes a spiritual compass, pointing toward what needs care or release. Accepting fatigue as part of the spiritual journey allows you to see life from a different angle, realizing that every pause, every moment of silence, strengthens inner resilience. And it's in this quiet space that the possibility of renewal arises, opening the way to embrace and understand your own spirituality. Number 3, confusion about your purpose. Many people on the spiritual journey feel as if they're sailing through a sea of fog, unable to clearly see their purpose. The mind becomes filled with questions: am I on the right path? What is my true mission? This confusion is a kind of spiritual pain that, while uncomfortable, is essential for growth. Imagine a traveler who has lost their map. They feel lost, but each turn, each detour, becomes a lesson that brings them closer to their destination. It's in this inner labyrinth that the soul begins to whisper its deepest truths. The search for clarity often involves intense and painful questioning, but it also brings opportunities for self-discovery. It's like digging into hard soil. At first, it seems impossible, but each effort reveals layers of yourself that were hidden. Practical tools can help turn confusion into insights, such as keeping a spiritual journal or listing your values and passions, even if they seem small or insignificant. With each note, the hurts begin to transform into understanding, and the mind starts to notice subtle signs that point toward the path of true purpose. And there's a powerful paradox: the more lost a person feels, the closer they are to discovering their life's mission. It's in this process that spiritual growth becomes real, because every doubt, every hesitation, awakens an inner awareness that was once dormant. Even if the world around offers no answers, the soul itself provides subtle clues, signs that can only be felt when we stop running and truly listen. And by paying attention to these signs, the spiritual journey reveals itself as a dance between uncertainty and discovery. Number 4, feeling out of place. There are moments on the spiritual journey when a person feels like they don't belong anywhere, like a piece that doesn't fit into life's puzzle. This sense of disconnection creates a silent spiritual pain that makes everything feel heavy and out of sync. It's like being at a crowded party but feeling as if no one speaks the same language. The soul cries out for belonging. The good news is that this discomfort is spirituality's way of inviting you to look inward and reconnect with who you truly are. Every moment of strangeness is actually a signal of growth. When the feeling of being out of place intensifies, the body and mind send subtle signals: restlessness, anxiety, or even unexplained physical pain. It's as if the spirit is trying to say, you need to realign your energy and seek environments that resonate with you. Walking through peaceful places, listening to uplifting music, or connecting with people who share similar values can help ease the hurts of this disconnection. Even small daily rituals, like meditating for 5 minutes or writing a letter to yourself, can help you feel more grounded. Interestingly, feeling out of place doesn't necessarily mean failure or being on the wrong path. Often it's a sign that the soul is preparing for a greater leap. It's at this point that spiritual growth begins to bloom, because discomfort awakens awareness, revealing where internal blockages still need healing. Someone who feels out of place today may realize tomorrow that they were actually being guided toward a more authentic and aligned path. And within that realization, the courage to move toward what truly matters begins to emerge. Number 5, guilt for not being strong all the time. Many people carry a quiet guilt for not being able to stay strong all the time, as if vulnerability were a flaw. On the spiritual journey, this feeling shows up as a spiritual pain that slowly eats away at self-esteem and confidence. It's like trying to keep a candle lit in constant wind. The energy fades while the guilt grows. Recognizing that feeling fragile is part of being human is essential to begin transforming the hurts into learning. After all, even warriors need rest, even if admitting it feels contradictory. This inner pressure to always be strong creates stress and emotional strain, impacting both body and mind. Feeling guilty for resting or crying is like denying your own nature, and spirituality reminds us that acceptance is a fundamental step toward growth. Small acts of self-compassion, like speaking to yourself with kindness or writing about fears and frustrations, help to relieve this burden. Each gesture of self-care turns the weight of guilt into fuel for spiritual growth. Interestingly, true strength isn't about never breaking down, it's about allowing yourself to feel and still choosing to rise again. The guilt we attach to what we call weakness often hides the potential for resilience that lives within each of us. Understanding that every hurt and every moment of vulnerability has value is part of the spiritual journey. That's when a person realizes that being human is, above all, an act of courage and ongoing learning. And in that awakening, the next step is to understand how to deal with recurring pains and physical discomforts. Number 6. Experiencing recurring pain or physical discomfort. Often, the body's pains are the soul's silent messengers, signaling that something needs attention on the spiritual journey. Recurring pain in the back, shoulders, or head might not have a clear medical explanation, yet they carry deep emotional meanings. It's as if each ache were a notification from life saying, "Look within, something needs to be released." Recognizing the body as a spiritual map helps transform discomfort into opportunities for growth, understanding that pain is not an enemy, but a teacher. The connection between body and spirit is direct. Stress, anxiety, and unspoken frustrations often find an outlet through physical symptoms. Feeling constant pain or discomfort is an invitation to listen to your inner signals, practice mindful pauses and breathing techniques, or even seek therapies that unite mind and body, such as yoga or therapeutic massage. Every act of care you give yourself is a way to honor your spiritual journey, transforming spiritual pain into learning. Interestingly, viewing the body as a messenger allows you to notice patterns that once went unnoticed. Tense shoulders might speak of heavy responsibilities, chest pain of stored grief, and tired legs of fear of moving forward. Each physical symptom is a precious clue for self-knowledge, a silent spiritual growth that teaches how to balance energy, emotions, and awareness. And through this understanding, you prepare yourself to listen to the soul on a deeper level. Number 7. Living with emotional overload. Emotional overload is like carrying a backpack full of invisible stones. No one can see them, but every step feels heavier. On the spiritual journey, those who live this way experience constant spiritual pain, as if they are always on the edge. Tasks, relationships, and expectations pile up, and the mind becomes tangled between what needs to be done and what the heart truly desires. This is where becoming aware of your own hurts becomes vital, showing that self-care is not a luxury, but a necessity. Small moments of pause become acts of courage. This silent pressure often prevents a person from reconnecting with their essence and their inner twin flame, leaving them lost in a mechanical routine. Simple practices, such as writing about feelings, talking with someone trustworthy, or practicing guided meditation, help relieve emotional tension and clear the mind. Each act of self-care becomes fuel for spiritual growth, allowing the overload to be transformed into learning. It's like turning the volume knob inward, adjusting what truly matters. Interestingly, overload can also be a valuable teacher. By noticing their limits and feeling the weight of excess, a person begins to recognize what is essential, to delegate what doesn't belong to them, and to embrace emotions they once denied. Each hurt becomes a sign that internal changes are needed, an invitation to align body, mind, and soul. And in this process, the spiritual journey reveals itself not only as a challenge but as a path of self-discovery and deep reconnection. Number 8. Struggling to listen to and understand yourself. Many people on the spiritual journey feel as though there's a constant noise inside them, making it hard to hear their own hearts. This spiritual pain creates confusion, blocking the understanding of deeper emotions and needs. It's like trying to hear a soft melody in the middle of a storm of loud sounds. It takes silence and patience to catch each note. The difficulty in listening to yourself is not weakness, but a sign that the soul is asking for attention and care. By recognizing this challenge, the first step toward transformation has already been taken. Learning to understand yourself is an art that develops through practice and kindness. Small rituals, such as writing daily reflections, taking mindful pauses, or talking to yourself in the mirror, help organize thoughts and feelings. Every effort to decode internal hurt strengthens spiritual growth and increases the connection to your true essence. It's like tuning an old radio until you find the right frequency, where the melody of the soul finally becomes clear. Interestingly, the more a person dedicates themselves to listening inward, the more clarity arises about their mission and desires. The process is ongoing, as each new experience offers signs that help interpret feelings and guide decisions. The connection with the inner twin flame, for example, becomes clearer, and the sense of being lost gives way to the realization that every pain and every doubt has a purpose on the spiritual journey. And in this attunement, space opens to face guilt, old traumas, and past wounds. Number 9. Carrying guilt, traumas, or old grudges. Many people on a spiritual journey carry an invisible backpack filled with guilt, traumas, and old grudges, as if each painful memory were another stone on their back. This silent spiritual pain drains their energy, leaving the heart heavy and the mind confused. It's like walking up a steep road while the past screams to be heard, ignoring it only increases the weight. Acknowledging and accepting these wounds is the first step to transforming them into learning and strength. Every emotional scar is, in fact, a sign of resilience and survival. Healing these old wounds requires attention and gentleness. Practical tools like writing unsent letters, talking with therapists, or practicing forgiveness-focused meditation help release the accumulated burden. Each act of self-kindness transforms hurts into fuel for spiritual growth, allowing the person to reconnect with their essence. By looking at these wounds with tenderness, the soul begins to realize it doesn't have to carry everything alone. Interestingly, when facing guilt and traumas from the past, a person discovers a hidden power within themselves. The weight of grudges turns into learning, and each spiritual pain reveals itself as a guide toward more conscious decisions. In this process, the inner twin flame grows stronger, and the feeling of being lost gives way to the realization that every suffering has value and purpose. And with this realization comes the drive to seek deeper meaning and purpose in life. Number 10. Seeking meaning and purpose. Seeking meaning and purpose on the spiritual journey is like looking for stars on a cloudy night. There is light, but we don't always see it clearly. This spiritual pain awakens deep questions. What is my role here? What truly matters to me? It's in this space of uncertainty that the soul begins to reveal subtle signs, offering clues toward authentic paths. Each moment of doubt is, in fact, an invitation to explore your own essence with courage and curiosity. The search for meaning requires bravery and presence. Activities such as writing daily intentions, reflecting on personal values, or connecting with spiritual mentors and communities help clarify thoughts and emotions. Every act of attention to your own heart transforms hurts into learning, strengthening spiritual growth and bringing you closer to your true mission. It's like adjusting your inner compass, where each conscious choice points toward alignment with the soul. Interestingly, the more you allow yourself to question and explore, the clearer the path becomes. Meaning and purpose are not instant discoveries but continuous processes of self-knowledge and spiritual reconnection. It's in this movement that the inner twin flame manifests, and the feeling of emptiness gives way to the understanding that every experience, pain, or doubt contributes to a fuller, more meaningful life. And in this awakening, the opportunity arises to feel inner peace and lightness. Number 11. Feeling of inner emptiness. The feeling of inner emptiness on the spiritual journey is like walking through an unfurnished room. There's space, but something essential is missing. This spiritual pain creates restlessness and the sense that nothing in the external world can fill what is felt inside. It is the soul's call to look inward and acknowledge forgotten desires, fears, and dreams. Each hurt of this nature is an opportunity to begin a deep reconnection with oneself, as if every emptiness were an invitation to explore unexplored internal territories. Often, a person tries to fill the emptiness with distractions, tasks, or relationships, but the true solution lies in introspection. Practices such as meditation, walks in nature, or keeping a gratitude journal allow you to feel the inner space without fear and observe which emotions arise naturally. Transforming the hurts of emptiness into self-understanding is part of spiritual growth, showing that what once seemed lacking is, in fact, an opportunity to connect with your true essence. Interestingly, the more a person allows themselves to feel the emptiness, the more they recognize the abundance of potential within. The sense of disconnection transforms into the freedom to explore one's spirituality, aligning desires, purpose, and life mission. It is in this moment that the inner twin flame draws closer, and emptiness ceases to be absence, becoming fertile ground for meaningful discoveries and experiences. And in this process, clarity about identity and authenticity emerges. Number 12. Confusion about identity. Confusion about identity on the spiritual journey often leaves a person feeling fragmented, as if looking into a mirror with missing pieces. This spiritual pain arises when the world demands masks and expectations, causing the essence to get lost along the way. It's an internal whirlwind of questions. Who am I really? What truly matters? Each hurt of this kind is the soul's invitation to reconstruct one's own narrative with authenticity and clarity. The process can be uncomfortable, but it reveals the hidden strength that resides within everyone. Acknowledging the different aspects of oneself is essential. Practical tools like daily reflections, honest conversations with trusted friends, or self-affirmation exercises help shed light on which parts of identity were shaped by external influences. Each small insight transforms confusion into spiritual growth, allowing the person to reconnect with their true core. It's like finding a golden thread in the middle of a tangled skein. It takes time, but every effort is worthwhile. Interestingly, the more a person allows themselves to explore their own essence, the clearer who they truly are becomes. Doubts turn into discoveries, and the inner twin flame awakens as a silent guide in this process of self-knowledge. Initial confusion gives way to the understanding that identity is not fixed but a dynamic flow, refined as the soul learns to listen to and embrace its own hurts. And in this flow, profound internal changes begin to emerge that, despite being challenging, reveal the person's courage. Number 13. Pain from intense internal changes. Intense internal changes on the spiritual journey often arrive like silent storms, shaking everything that once seemed stable. This spiritual pain creates discomfort, fear, and even resistance, because the person feels as if they are losing parts of themselves they once knew. It's like witnessing a butterfly's transformation while still inside the cocoon, painful, yet inevitable. Each hurt of this nature is an invitation to embrace evolution and recognize that pain is part of growth. Accepting these changes is learning to dance with your own transformation. During these phases, the body and mind respond with subtle signals, such as emotional exhaustion, restlessness, or even minor physical aches, reflecting the intensity of the transition. Acknowledging these signs and practicing breathing exercises, journaling, or moments of introspection helps process the spiritual growth that is occurring. It's like learning to navigate turbulent waters with calm, using each wave to move forward rather than resist. Every internal challenge offers the opportunity to reconnect with the inner twin flame and discover hidden resources. Interestingly, the pain caused by internal changes is, in fact, a portal to self-understanding and authenticity. The more a person allows themselves to feel, embrace, and observe these transformations, the more their hidden strength awakens. Each hurt reveals facets of the soul that were previously dormant, showing that internal resistance can become an ally in building a fuller life. And in this process, the fear of losing one's mind arises, inviting the courage to continue even when everything feels uncertain. Number 14. Fear of losing your mind. The fear of losing your mind on the spiritual journey arises when internal changes and hurt seem greater than your ability to cope with them. The mind becomes confused, thoughts tangle, and the person feels as if they have lost control over themselves. This spiritual pain can be terrifying, but it is also a sign that something deep is being transformed. It's as if the inner terrain is undergoing an earthquake, opening cracks for new structures to emerge. Recognizing that this fear is natural is already the first step to avoid getting lost in your own mind. The body and emotions often reflect this turbulence, manifesting as fatigue, tension, and restlessness. Grounding techniques, such as walking barefoot on the earth, deep breathing exercises, and writing down disordered thoughts, help bring clarity and balance. Every act of self-care transforms hurts into an opportunity for spiritual growth, allowing the person to realize that the mind can be a friend, not an enemy, in this process. It's a way to reconnect with your own essence, even when everything feels out of place. Interestingly, the more one faces the fear of losing their mind, the more they discover the inner strength that has always been present. The inner twin flame begins to silently guide the person, showing that every sign of confusion is an invitation for introspection and self-understanding. The courage to remain conscious during turbulent moments creates a solid foundation to face future hurts and transform fear into learning, paving the way for a sense of belonging and validation. And in this awakening, guilt or shame begins to dissolve. Number 15, feelings of loneliness, guilt, or shame. Feeling loneliness, guilt, or shame on the spiritual journey is like carrying a heavy cloak that no one else sees, yet presses on the heart. This spiritual pain makes a person feel isolated and misunderstood, as if they are always making mistakes or failing. It's curious how the mind amplifies these hurts, making them feel more intense than they actually are. Recognizing and embracing these emotions is the first step to dissolving the weight and beginning to realize that you are not alone on this path. Every experience, no matter how uncomfortable, carries a silent lesson about oneself. Guilt and shame often come from old patterns and external expectations that a person has absorbed without noticing. Simple techniques, such as writing letters of forgiveness to oneself, reflecting on personal values, or talking with someone trustworthy, help relieve the emotional burden. Transforming these hurts into learning strengthens spiritual growth and creates space for feelings of belonging and validation. It's like cleaning a foggy window. Gradually, the inner light begins to shine, showing the way to reconnect with one's true essence. Interestingly, loneliness, guilt, and shame are not enemies, but signals that internal changes are underway. By facing these emotions with courage, a person discovers that true freedom lies in accepting oneself, with all the hurts and imperfections. The inner twin flame awakens in this process, offering a constant, silent guidance, showing that every step on the spiritual journey brings the person closer to understanding, self-compassion, and inner peace. And in this recognition, internal resistance emerges, ready to be transformed into strength. Number 16, internal resistance. Internal resistance on the spiritual journey is like an anchor that keeps a person stuck, even when they know they need to move forward. This spiritual pain arises when the soul senses that changes are necessary, but the mind fears the unknown. It's like trying to cross a river while feeling your feet stuck in the muddy bottom. Every effort seems futile, and the hurts intensify. Recognizing this resistance without judgment is the first step toward dissolving it and transforming fear into fuel for growth. Often, this resistance manifests as procrastination, self-criticism, or denial of internal signals. Practical tools, such as guided meditation, conscious breathing exercises, and small gradual actions toward personal goals, help break the cycle of blockage. Each act of facing resistance strengthens spiritual growth, allowing the person to realize that every hurt is a friendly alert from the soul, indicating where there is room for liberation and evolution. Interestingly, internal resistance, when acknowledged and understood, becomes a great ally. It points exactly to where a person needs to work, helping to build courage, authenticity, and connection with their inner twin flame. Each time resistance is faced, a little more of oneself is discovered, opening space to live with greater authenticity, purpose, and lightness. And in this awakening, the journey becomes more aligned, guiding the person toward a sense of belonging and validation in their own spiritual path. The pain you have felt, feel, or will feel does not define who you are. Each hurt, every moment of confusion or fear, is an invitation from your soul to grow and reconnect with your own twin flame. Look at your challenges as signs that you are alive, that you are evolving, and that each experience brings learning and strength to your spiritual journey. Ask yourself, what is this pain trying to teach me about myself? By embracing your emotions, listening to your body, and reflecting on each experience, you begin to transform spiritual pain into purpose, discovering clarity, inner peace, and lightness. What once felt heavy becomes fuel for your evolution. Every act of self-understanding and each step toward authenticity strengthens your courage and reveals the hidden strength within you. Now I want to hear from you. Which pain has marked your life the most, and what did it teach you? Share in the comments, because your learning can inspire others on their spiritual journey. And don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to keep learning about how to transform pain into strength. Remember, every step you take on this path brings you closer to living with more purpose, authenticity, and connection. See you in the next video.